All right, my friends. Today's Revit tip is going to be about a shared component. In fact, all shared components? No, shared parameters. Shared parameters. When you want to use a shared parameter in a project, and the one we're going to build today is sheet number X of X total sheets, okay? That's just an example. And it could be any shared parameter, but I want to show you guys how shared parameters work so that you can put them and use them in your project, okay? So without any further wasting your time, we will go and I will share my screen. Share my screen with you. Okay, there we go. We are over here in Revit. And what we're going to do now, what I want to show you guys is let's go to a sheet. And I will explain as we go why we're going here. Schedules, here's a sheet. First floor plan, okay? We've got a sheet. And so on our sheet, over in the bottom right corner, let's just suppose that right down here, under some firms like this, some firms like to do this. They've got a sheet number, A100, whatever the number is. But right below it here, it says, this is sheet number 1 of 24, or it's number 2 of 24, or it's 3 of 24, whatever, okay? And that would be an example of a shared parameter. Now, let me just explain to you really fast about it, what a shared parameter is. A shared parameter is a parameter that you can share. You can share the parameter with different families. And a shared parameter can report into a schedule. It can report into a tag. It can show up in other places because you can share the parameter with a tag. You can share the parameter with an object, a family in your project. Okay, you with me? So this parameter can be also shared with another project in other files. So this shared parameter is a powerful little parameter that can go into different objects, okay? So in Revit, shared parameters that you plan on using to place it in a family or place it into a project or place it into another project, you need to have an easy transfer mechanism, a place to put this parameter so it's not just sitting on your desktop or it's not just sitting somewhere on your server alone. Because what if you had 50 different shared parameters for different things? They'd be all over the place and you could lose track of them. So Revit has a file. It is simply a text file, just a .txt. It's a text file that contains all of these shared parameters. So when you create one, well, when you create a shared parameter, you save it inside this special text file, and then you can load it into any project you want. You can load it in your template. You can make a new family and then load that shared parameter into that family. You can use that shared parameter, but the place to keep it is in a little text file. And if you don't have one of those text files, you can't save your parameters. Revit, that's the only place you can save these shared parameters is in this text file. So that being said, you might not have one of these text files. And I'm going to show you how to create one and then also how to put shared parameters into that and then how to use those in your project. Okay, so here we go. So let's come up to here. So I'm just looking at this sheet and I say, I need a shared parameter, okay? So I would come up to Manage tab and I would click on Shared Parameters, okay? What this is gonna do, it's gonna bring up the shared parameter file that I am currently using here. If I don't have one, it'll say, create a brand new one or browse to where a one is if someone else gave you a shared parameter file. But let's just say I don't even have one for virtual BIM management, my company. What if I didn't even have one? Like maybe your company doesn't even have one. This is where I'm going to go. I'm going to hit create. Okay. When I hit the create file, what it wants to do is where. So let's just say on my desktop, I am going to, not my desktop, let me go to my documents. Here's my documents. In my documents, I am going to put this new shared parameter file. Okay, so I'm just going to call it my Kulo shared parameter file. Whatever, you can name it whatever you want. In fact, you should name it the name of your company and call it shared parameters somewhere in it so you don't lose track of it. So this is going to be my Kulo shared parameter file. And I'm going to put it right here under my documents. So I'm going to hit save, okay? And it begins pointing at it right then, okay? And you'll notice that I don't have any parameters at all in this new file. But I can keep things organized if I want by making groups. I can make a group for my room, the parameters that I'm going to put into rooms. I can make a group for title blocks. I can make a group for lighting fixtures. Keeping them organized is good. So let me just make a group. I'm just going to make a group for title blocks. Title, how do you spell it? Blocks, title blocks. So this is a group. And so the parameters under title blocks, I'm going to say I'd like a new parameter. So here we go. I'd like a new parameter. And of course, it's under my face. They often go under my face. So I'm just going to bring that down here. When you're making a new shared parameter, this is what pops up. You got to give it a name. And this is going to be, let's just call it, there we go, sheet X of X. We'll call it sheet X of X. That's what it's going to be called. It's not a length. You can skip over discipline unless you want to put it specifically into one of the other, what discipline if you're a structural MEP, whatever. But I'm just going to leave it as common. Now, sheet X of X, I want that to be an integer because it's going to be a 1, a 2, a 3, or 4, or 5, whatever. And if I say OK, then look, I have a parameter in this holding tank, this shared parameter file now. And this shared parameter can now be used in a project. It can be used, I can push it into a family. I can push it anywhere I want. But I'm going to make another one. So we have two. And I'm going to say the new parameter under title blocks is going to be total number of sheets. Okay. And it too is going to be an integer. Okay. So now I've got two shared parameters ready to use wherever I want to use them. Okay. So basically, when you are in Revit, when you go to the Manage tab and you click on Shared Parameters, what you're doing is kind of stepping outside of your Revit project. These are not in the project yet, okay? They are, all we're doing is making parameters that we plan on using later in our project and in our families. This is kind of stepping into a little editor that edits the text file that's on your computer, okay? That being said, I can just say, okay, and it closes that editor. That thing is done. I can open it whenever I want. If I wanted to add another one, I would just click Share Parameters, and it opens it up, okay? And I can say, okay, whatever. So I can open that text file and add more parameters and close it whenever I want. In a minute, when I want to add a parameter to my project or add a parameter to my family, like this sheet family, then this title block family, it'll open up that text document that I've made, and I can pick the one that I've already created. Okay, I'm just giving you guys a heads up of how things work. So here we are back at the project, and I would like to click on this family, which is my title block family, and I'm going to click Edit Family button, okay? and it takes me into the family. And so now I'm going to also zoom down here, okay, to this corner. Now this is where I want to have my, this is where I want to put that stuff, that information. So the word sheet, I'm going to say text. I would just want a piece of text right there. The word sheet. Sheet. I'm just going to have it. The word sheet. Okay, look, sheet. This is going to be sheet. And I'll bring it over lined up. Look at that. It lines up with the other one. This is going to be sheet X of, and I want to copy this over and have this say of. This is just text. This is static text. It has no parameter associated with it. It's not editable in any way. It's just text. So that if I took this sheet blank of blank, and if I said load into my project and close it, do you want to save change? Not right now. I'm going to load it in and overwrite the existing one. Look, every one of my sheets now is going to have sheet blank of blank on it. You guys with me? It's text. It's not editable. When I go to click on it, it's not editable at all. So I go back to edit the family again. So now that I've got this kind of like a place where I plan, I'm going to zoom back in this bottom corner. I plan on placing a label right here with a parameter. So I want sheet blank of blank. And I want right there, I want to put sheet X of X. And after the word of over here, I want the total number of sheets. Okay, so let's put those in. So when I click on label, I would like a label, and I'm just going to click right there. Okay. Now, which one of my current labels am I going to put? And I look through here and I say, hey, I don't see sheet X of X. It's not in there. Why I oughta? I need it to be there. Well, what we need to do is make a new parameter in this title block family. And we click on new parameter or add a parameter down at the bottom right there. Click. Now, because we're in a title block, the only option we have is to bring in a shared parameter. So it says it's kind of highlighted it already for me. The select button is select a parameter that you want in here. So I hit OK, select sheet X of X. Now what it's done, it's opened up this holding tank, this shared parameter text file that's I've got on my desktop or in my documents folder. Sheet X of X is the one I want to load. And I say, okay. So what, and it has already, I've already decided it was going to be a parameter. The name and the type of parameter is already preloaded. So I just say, okay. And it loads it. Look, now it's an option. While I'm sitting here, I may as well just load in the other one. So I'm going to say, add a parameter, select it, and I'm going to bring in the total number of sheets also. Okay. Okay. So now I've got those both in here ready to use. So back to adding the first label, sheet X of X. I highlight it and I click this little add parameter over to the label. And I'm going to change the sample value to just like 2 big X's. Okay. And say, okay. And that label's probably too big. So what I need to do is pick it and swap that. I'm going to go to my properties. Okay. Just this funny. I'm going to go to my properties and say, you're not going to be a 1/2 inch tall label. How about 1/8 inch tall label? That makes more sense. Okay. And when I look over here, that makes more sense. I am going to click on it and say, edit it a tiny bit. I'm going to say horizontally, I want it to be centered. And I'm going to move it so that I can horizontally, I'm going to center it so that the number updates right there. Okay. So do we see that, guys? That label is going to be right there. That's X of X. And now over here on the right, I want to put the total number of sheets. So up at the top, I go to create and I pick label and I pick where I want it to go. And then I scroll down to my possible options and I want this to be total number of sheets. And apparently you can't add it while you're working on the other one. So I need to add it again. That was my bad. My bad. You can't add 2 or 3 at the same time. You need to add them one at a time. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to add it back in because I didn't, I should have just waited. I'm going to say, okay, so there, okay, there it is, total number of sheets. And now it's being added over. And I'm going to change its sample to be 2 big X's also, or 4 X's, whatever. I'm going to say, okay. So when it comes in, it's like, this one is the total number of sheets. And I'm going to change its label size to be an 1/8 inch Arial. Hey, why don't I change, watch this. I'm going to make this one horizontal alignment right side, okay? So when I put it over here, it always stays in the same place, okay? I'm kind of try to get these a little bit lined up. There we go, top of, whoops. There. So what we've got is, and I'm going to make these bold. Watch this. I highlight that one and make it 1/8 Arial bold, wonk. And that one is a label that's 1/8 Arial bold, wonk. There we go. Look at that. You guys happy with that? Look at this. We've got a label now that are shared parameters of X of X and total number of sheets. Okay. So now that looks good to me. I'm going to load it into my project. And I would typically say, yeah. In fact, I'm going to do it. Ready for this? Yes, I would like to save that on my hard drive. It exists already. Well, yes, overwrite it because I want this to live forever. Even though this is just a Revit Tip video, I'm overwriting my file on my computer. So here we go. Overwrite the existing version. Yes, do it. So what pops in? Nothing. You can't see labels there if they don't have any information. You with me? Now, watch this. This is going to happen to you. When I highlight my sheet, I can see question marks where there's supposed to be information. And if I wanted to tell A101 to be the first sheet, number 1 of 24, when I go to click it, I click it, and it doesn't allow me to add any information. It's just a locked question mark. That is because the shared parameter has been shared with the title block family, but not with the project. You with me? Your shared parameters have to be shared with the project and with the family that you are loading into the project. You have to share it. So to share that same parameter that we just shared in the title block family, we're going to share with the project. You go up here to, wait for it, we're going to go up to manage, okay? And we're going to go to not share parameters because that would open up the text file and for building more. We're going to click on project parameters. And it's behind my face again. I have to move it. This is the list of project parameters that are currently in this project. And if I scroll down, I'm not going to see, what are we looking for? Sheet X of X or total number of sheets. It's not shared yet with the project. So I say add. And when it comes up, it's behind my face. I'm telling you, that face is always in the way. Okay. Now this is a fun one. When you're in the project, are we adding a new project parameter, which the radio button is already pre-selected for? It assumes that's what you want, but we say no. We want a shared parameter. So check that radio button, and it looks now very similar. It has the select button. It wants you to go pick the sheet X of X and say, okay. And what it does, it brings it in right here, sheet X of X. And the trick is you have to tell it what objects or what category this is going to attach itself to back in your project, okay? in here in the project. So I'm going to scroll down to sheets. Wait for it. There it is, sheets. And you check the box, and this shared parameter is now going to be shared in sheets. Shared parameters are so amazing. You could share them with multiple things. You could share it with roads and ramps and planting, but I'm not going to. I'm going to only share it into the sheet objects. And when I say OK twice, now when I go to click on the sheet and I see the question mark, wait for it, and I go to add information, I have the ability to change this now. I'm going to say this is sheet 1 of, okay? And when I click on, I want to say there's 24 sheets. When I go to click on that question mark, doesn't work. You with me? We have to go add, whoops, I opened that for editing. When you double click on something, you open it for editing. So let me just get back to the project. Okay, don't double click in an example. If you're doing a Revit tip, don't just double click on things to emphasize it because it'll open it for editing. And then you have to, never mind. Okay, so now when I click on that, I do not have the ability to edit that yet because I have not added that total number of sheets parameter to the project. It's in the sheet, but not the project. So here we go. You remember, go to Manage, click on Project Parameters. You'll find it's not in the list. We see sheet X of X in there, but not total number of sheets. It's not in there. And I can say Add. Remember, we have to switch it from a project parameter to shared parameter. I'm sorry if I'm insulting your intelligence. You guys are picking this up, but I'm going step by step so we don't miss it, okay? Now I have to hit select, and I select total number of sheets and hit OK, and it brings it in, but I have to assign it to a category. So I'm going to come down here and assign it to, wait for it. Yep, you guessed it, sheets again, and say OK. And you'll see that it's now in the list. And when I say OK, it's usable now. It is usable in my project. So now when I highlight my sheet, I can tell the total number of sheets to be 24 sheets. So I have on A101, that is sheet 1 of 24. And if I go to my second floor plan, I can zoom in here and say, dude, you are 2 of 24, okay? And so on all my sheets, I can tell them the total number of sheets, and I can tell them the sheet number. Now, if you don't feel like this is extra, if you don't feel like going to every single sheet, you can make yourself a schedule of this information and put and do it there really quickly. So you don't have to open every single sheet. And someone's going to say, can you show us? Yes, I'll do it right now. Here, this is how fast it is to populate the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 of 24 on your sheet. So what we need is a schedule, okay? We need watch this. I will go to View, and I would say I would like a schedule, and I would like a sheet list, and it's by my face again. The sheet list, what do I want on the sheet list? I want the sheet number first, and then the sheet name, but then I want to know the sheet X of X, okay? The sheet X of X, and then I also want, wait for it, total number of sheets. And I accidentally, there we go. So I've got the sheet number, the sheet name, the sheet X of X, and the total number of sheets. And when I say, okay, we're going to get this on screen. Now look, this lists all of my sheets. Let me get my face out of the way. What I'm going to do is show you guys. I'm going to click on the C at the top and tell this thing to align center so that it puts them right where I need, okay? And maybe even the D also, or a little center. Okay, so here we go. The first floor, look at this. May as well do that one too. Let's get them all centered up. Okay, look, A101 A101 is 1, and A102 is 2. A103 is, look at this, 3, down arrow, 4, down arrow, 5, down arrow, 6, down arrow, 7, down, and so on. You could keep on going, okay? And then on the total number of sheets, I'm going to widen this so we can all see it better. On the total number of sheets, you can't just hit a button and have it go populate automatically like in Excel. In Revit, you have to type 24 down, 24 down, 24 down. And I just add 24 to each one of these all the way down. But now I have filled those in very quickly. I can renumber them very quickly. I can update the total number of sheets really quickly here. I can do this all in this schedule. And when I'm going to go open up sheet, look at this. 4th floor plan is number 4 out of 24. So let's go open that sheet and see if it did indeed update for us. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? It did it for us. So what we're talking about here, it works. So what I want to do now is just say, I hope you guys understand now how shared parameters work. And also the extra bonus is I've walked you through how to make sheet X of X and total number of sheets parameters for use in your project. That was totally a bonus extra. I hope this really helps. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And as always, happy Reviting. Okay, bye-bye.